One part of this compliance conversation that we often overlook is the fact that out of every stakeholder involved in the housing value chain, in the planning, financing, development, supply and demand sides of the value chain, is constantly innovating its products, processes or services with the exception of government agencies of the public service. For example, designers, contractors, developers are all improving their services and innovating their product, trying to meet the consumers and the customers at the level of their income. But we cannot identify one way in which the public service involved in the housing value chain has done the same. And I am being very careful to not just label it all as government, because it's our brothers, our fathers, our mothers, uncles, colleagues, and friends that make up the public service who have chosen to profit from the failure of the system rather than improve the services, the processes, and the products of the ministries and agencies that they work in to make it better, more accessible, and more reachable to the members of the public. And I hope at this point, people will not point to the renewed hope housing as innovation because governments have been building low cost housing since ages past. And just about 2 decades or so ago, South Africa gave people free housing. So that is not the point. Let's really think about this. In what ways have any of the environmental, planning, building control agencies that are involved with housing made access to their services and responsibilities accessible and reachable to the people? Instead of bringing improvements, despite facing a very high housing shortage and low compliance to planning regulations, what we see is approval fees keep rising, planning rules, regulations, planning information have become top secret that has empowered a few people to make profit from by simply holding this information and processes. And to make matters worse, hardly can you walk into any government agency now without being expected to drop money before you are being attended to. I believe it's time for purposeful value innovation in governance and public service within the housing and real estate value chain. Let's start with restructuring every unit with an improved customer experience attitude. Let's make planning and approval more case responsive. That is, more tailored to homeowners' realities, to income levels, whereby we allow more flexibilities for unique considerations. Let's streamline planning and city development processes, policies, assets, and especially information such that they are available online and accessible digitally. In fact, we can even consider introducing installment payments for approval fees to encourage and make approval more attractive. So, like I said, the private sector, the investors, the builders, the contractors, and other professionals have done their part. It is time for government and its planning and city development instruments to do the same. I hope this helps.